Hey guys, Andrew here with Great Lakes Sprouts Media. Today I'm going to show you guys a method of propagation. Propagation meaning to clone a propagule. We're going to make propagules. These are herbaceous mint plants here. You can do this with basils, other herbaceous, more softer tissue plants and things like that. I'm going to show you guys some secret methods here that I've learned over the years and how to make a bunch more plants. Let's do this. Some of the tools we're going to need here, we have our propagation tray with our squares. There's also these blocks here. They're just sphagnum peat moss. Jiffy makes them. You can soak them in water. You can see they're starting to expand. That's also another option. We got rock wool. They also sell different cubes. If you go to like a hydroponics store or local gardening store that specializes in hydroponics and things like that, you'll find rooting blocks as well. And then we also have a rooting gel here, which is our hormone. This will help increase the possibility of creating more roots, more success rate, especially for like harder, woodier cuttings. This is a really soft tissue here, so these things propagate themselves. You don't even need to use rooting hormone, but it's going to help increase the success rate. So we're going up to our mint plants here. I grew a lot of them from seed, and now's a good time to start taking cuttings. So making sure everything's sterile is important, more so if you're growing indoor plants like finicky plants, but mint's pretty hardy, it's pretty easy to clone. So we're going to take our razor blade. You can use scissors too, but we really don't want to pinch the plant we're taking a cutting. We'll go right above here. We're going to take this one here. There's a lot of cuttings we could take here. We'll go right above the internode at a 45-degree angle and cut it. See how clean a cut that is? And then what we'll do, I'm going to take some of my rooting hormone here. I don't like to dip it into the container. Reason being, if there is a pathogen present, you want to keep reinfecting the rooting hormone. This stuff's typically only good for about 6 months. Sometimes it's better to buy the smaller packets. Every time you're doing this, they sell ones for like $5. What I'm going to do is just put this on a container here, and I'll dip into it. Next thing we want to do, we're going to decrease the surface area because we're not trying to get the plant to transpire. It's going to focus on root growth at the bottom here. So we take our leaves, cut them, half of them. I'll explain this a little bit more in detail while I'm doing this. Take our plant, don't smother it. A lot of people like to smother it in the rooting gel. All you need is one little dip right where you made your incision. Too much of anything is not good, just like fertilizer. A lot of people think giving more fertilizer to a plant. This stuff can also harm the plant if you use too much of it. So just a nice little dip like that. We go up to our 72 cell tray here. I'm using coconut fiber in this case. We just take our plant, stick it right in. So there we have it. That's the one method here I was talking about. Mint also can just put into a mason jar like this, root like that as well, but you're gonna get a lot more success rate and a nice sturdy root stock. I'm going to show you guys once these things propagate. I'm going to take a couple more cuttings here and just keep taking some cuttings so you guys can watch. So out of this one we can actually make 2 cuttings. I'm going to go above this internode. Same thing. Dip it into our rooting hormone. I like to give them that space. You can stick them closer together too, but in this case, I'm going to give them a little bit more room. So we're going back to that same cutting. See how I took it off the top? You can go above that internode too. This can be done with mint because it has more layers. Same thing, I'm going to cut the surface of the leaf area. We want to decrease transpiration. We're sticking it in. Take a couple more cuttings. Let's do a little bit of a larger one. I'll go up the middle here. Actually remove these leaves if you want to. Sometimes people will take the razor blade too. You could do a slight incision on the side. It'll help the epidermal level or the roots to be exposed. Cut these leaves again. Remove this lower leaf. And dip it in the rooting gel. Since we did an incision on the side, I'm gonna dip a little bit on the side there too. Nothing too crazy though. All right, we'll stick that in there. So the humidity dome, it's another thing. I'm gonna bring it up here. Once we fill our whole thing with cuttings, you know, everything covered, take our humidity dome, preferably get the one with the vents. So the whole idea is to keep the humidity around the plants at 100%, so the osmotic system of the plant isn't transpiring water into the air. It's holding it into the cells of the plant until the roots start being exposed. You start, after a few days, you start opening the vent just a little bit, but after 3 or 4 days, after about 7 days, you open it up all the way. And after about a week, once you know they're rooted, just go up to and tug on them. You know, you can remove the dome and just have them grow like you would a normal plant that was seeded. But before we put the dome on, what I like to do, we want to mist it, keeping it 100% humidity. Another method is to put it on top of a heating mat. Nice thing about this one here, if you take a closer look, here, we see there's a grid at the bottom that prevents this thin 2-cell tray from sitting at the bottom of the tray. So we can add a little bit of water at the bottom and not have to worry about spraying this every day. We put it under a heating mat and it'll keep it nice and humid in there. We just put our dome on. For the first 24 hours, we put it in the dark. We put it in a dark place, not anywhere super cold, nowhere super hot. You know, 72-degree room, your basement's fine. And after that, we want to start putting in the light. So after 24 hours, stick it under T5. You don't want to put it under any high intensity. You don't want to be cloning out in the sun. Like I said, the idea here is not to get the plant to photosynthesize. We're not trying to get it to grow. We're trying to get it to produce roots. So we don't want it utilizing, sucking up water and things like that and transpiring. We want it to be a low light. You can use a shop light, T5, T8, T12, things like that, or a LED that can be toned down and things like that. So yeah, after 24 hours of darkness, stick them under your LED T5. All right guys, so we got our T5s here. I got these on Amazon. Like I said, nothing crazy. They're a heating mat too. Just a little bit of heat, nothing crazy. We're just gonna take them, put them right underneath here. This is after 24 hours. Remember, put them in the dark for 24 hours. It's been 24 hours of putting them underneath the T5 right now. Yeah, after a few days, just go up to them. Like I said, you'll know when they start to root. Don't be afraid. After a while, to give it a little tug, you'll know it's pulled in there. But mint's pretty easy to clone. A lot of herbs are easy to clone. You guys should have a very high success rate with doing this. So, like I said, you got the Jiffy pots too. We can put them right into those as well. They'll root into those as well. And once our plants are rooted, we can take multiple of them, stick them into a pot, or one per pot, however you guys feel. You know, you guys want to work on them. But yeah, a lot of these I started from seed. So these things were grown last year. They came back, they're perennial. But yeah, you can use this for all your herbaceous plants, guys. Basils, oreganos, anything real soft tissue is gonna be really easy to clone. If it's starting to get more woody, you're gonna have a lower success rate. If you're gonna take cuttings off of something, you wanna make sure it's the soft tissue, the newer growth. Also, you wanna make sure the plant's not flowering. You know, that's also an indication. Mint, you know, it's one of those plants, like I said, it's very easy to clone. We know it's in the mint family. We go up to the plant, we touch it, we can feel it's like a square. It's a Laniaceae family, so your mints are really easy to clone. They basically grow themselves, but it's a good way to practice, guys, your first time cloning stuff. It's fun. You know, there's other ways too. There's aeroponic methods. I'll show you guys in the future. I have aero systems are really excellent. Get a higher oxygen level in the root zone and a lot more success rate, bigger root growth. But yeah, there you guys have it. If you have more questions, please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe button, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.